Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. Last weekend, after a boozy get-together, I was tipsy and spotted a bus stop on the roadside. It was Lily, the goddess of my dreams. Without thinking, I rushed over and hugged the advertisement, calling out, "My love, my love, my love. Lily, why are you in this? Are you suffocating in there?" As I spoke, I frantically tried to pry open the glass case, tears streaming down my face. Why can't I get my wife out? More and more people gathered around. The next day, a video of my antics went viral. Fans were tagging Lily nonstop. And unbelievably, she replied, "Hello, my husband I've never met. I'm trendy." The night before, my company had thrown a party to celebrate my promotion. The atmosphere was electric, and I'd had a few extra drinks. Since my place was just 2 bus stops away, I declined a ride from colleagues, opting to walk. But I'd barely taken a few steps when my head started spinning. Stumbling past a bus stop ad in my hazy state, I saw Lily, my goddess. Like a fairy, she was smiling at me, even waving. I stopped, tilted my head, and gazed at her. She was stunning. Her smile was the most beautiful in the world. My head swam, and I lurched towards her. What happened after that? I don't really remember. Actually, I didn't want to remember what happened next. But the next day, a barrage of videos flooded the internet, forcing the memory back. In the videos, I was clinging to the ad, refusing to let go, repeatedly shouting, "Wife," attracting a crowd. I desperately tried to pry open the glass, crying, "Is my wife suffocating in there? See, I can't get her out. Stop filming. Help me save my wife." Comments flooded the screen. "This guy drank fake liquor for sure. LOL, way too much. Every time I see Lily, I also want to pull her out of the phone. Your wife is everywhere, buddy. Even my elevator ad is her." I put down my phone, closed my eyes, and thought, today is not a good day to go out. Definitely not a good day to work. But skipping work on my first day as a manager seemed even worse. Frustrated, I ran my hands through my hair. I had to accept it and get out of bed. Heading to the office, everyone swarmed around me. "Morning, manager. What a coincidence. Your wife and us are at the same company. Unbelievable." These workaholics were also Idol fans. "You have to admit, Lily is truly gorgeous. Every detail is perfect, right up my aesthetic alley." "Totally. She's so beautiful. Heard she's coming next week to promote her new movie. Have you guys seen the trailer?" The topic shifted to Lily. I breathed a sigh of relief and started dealing with urgent work. Suddenly, a scream pierced through the office, making my ears ring. Lily responded. My assistant thrust a phone in my face. In the video comments, fans had relentlessly tagged Lily. And there it was, Lily's Weibo reply. "Hello, my husband I've never met." Just then, my boss walked in, placing documents on my desk. "John, my son-in-law. Quick meeting in my office in half an hour." "Wait, boss, son-in-law? What do you mean?" I called him back, confused. He pointed to the giant Lily ad on the building. Across the street, I saw my granddaughter. I forced a smile. Promises on the internet are nothing compared to reality. Before I could even process it, my Weibo account was exposed. People expected I was intentionally creating a scandal. Soon, fans swarmed my Weibo, attacking me. By evening, a male blogger even started a live stream criticizing me. Let me tell you guys, this was all planned. This is his first step. Next, he'll be headhunting. Right? But a headhunter with a scandal? Unacceptable. The handsome blogger smirked. Are people still believing in online photos? If she's really that beautiful, why is she working? Doesn't she have investors? I couldn't hold back and commented, right. You sound so experienced. You must have investors, right? People around me noticed my comment and buzzed, tagging Lily. Lily, hurry. Your husband you've never met is in trouble." The blogger glanced at my comment, then at the camera. "I don't have investors," I replied. Impossible. You don't have investors because you're ugly." The blogger's face changed. "Who are you implying is ugly?" Whoa. Why are you getting so worked up? Where were you during character education class?" I typed back quickly. The blogger tried to regain composure and change the topic. "You read so many books, yet you still want to find a rich person." I retorted. And you're so terrible. Is it because you studied too little? Before he could reply, I continued typing and sent. Growing up must have been tough for you. After all, your brain hasn't fully developed. You should go back and retrain. Maybe next time you won't even have the chance to be human. Poor prices are up recently. Maybe you think you're valuable now and started acting up. Here, the blogger's speech clearly couldn't keep up with my typing speed. The direction of the comments started to shift. This guy's good. Suggest opening a class to teach this savage roasting. If you know how to roast, roast more. We like to listen. Seeing the situation spiraling out of control, the blogger quickly ended the live stream. I snorted softly. Want to spread rumors about me? A fat wanting feathers? What does he even think he is? Unexpectedly, I became famous after this online battle with the blogger. Though this skill wasn't something I got to use often. Just not that outstanding. Netizens started digging into my past, from elementary school to university graduation. Search terms about me flooded the internet. John's dark history, John's high school graduation photo, John's university entrance exam scores. That evening, just as I finished dinner and was about to work overtime, private messages poured in. People were telling me that the blogger challenged me. Some even sent links urging me to join the battle. I opened the link. The online viewers had already surpassed 3 million, and the number was still climbing. This time, he was clearly well prepared, hiring many internet trolls. Each time he spoke, the comments were filled with likes. John in high school looked so ugly, dark, and chubby, face full of acne. Today I found his single photo from high school. He swiped his phone and pointed the screen at the camera. See, so ugly. I thought he was a natural-born handsome guy. Turns out he was just an artificial one. In 10th grade, he didn't study at all and ranked last in class. After exams, I doubt his university entrance exam scores are even real. Hearing this, I couldn't help but comment. Are you questioning the credibility of the university entrance exam? The blogger quickly denied. No, I didn't say that. Suddenly he shifted direction. You've had surgery, right? You can't deny this. I replied, yes, my eyelids are surgically enhanced, and I also had my nose slightly adjusted. The trolls started attacking. Ugly thing, get lost. But some viewers commented, his commercial beauty is actually high. Looks so natural. Can you recommend your doctor? I want to know your skin whitening secret. Can you talk more about weight loss? Dude, your math score in the university entrance exam was full marks. Can you share how you transformed yourself? My goal is also to get into a top university. Can you do a live stream? Within a short time, comments kept appearing. Open a live stream. I've gathered enough viewers. Share more. Seeing this, the blogger quickly praised. His university entrance exam scores are really good. Why didn't you test into Tsinghua or Peking University? Only math was full marks. What about other subjects? Why not perfect scores? The comments started ignoring him completely, drowning out the trolls. My biggest strength is I can't stand seeing others disappointed. So I started a live stream. Within a minute, people flooded in. I looked at the questions in the comments. First, let's talk about weight loss. Definitely need to extend the weight loss period. Understand this is a long-term process. Comments in the chat kept flowing. I respect you. This guy really gets it. He's really sharing. The next day, I was working overtime at the company. As I finished and left the building, waiting for the bus, it suddenly started pouring rain. I couldn't dodge it in time, and got completely soaked. John, a voice called from afar. I looked up and saw my boss Jack's car on the other side of the road. He waved me over. Let me give you a ride. I nodded, running over, opening the car door, and sitting in the passenger seat. This is John. I was surprised to realize there was someone in the back seat. If the boss was the driver, the person in the back must be no ordinary person. I turned my head, smiling professionally. It was an older man. The dim light made it hard to see his face clearly, but I sensed he was very refined. You like Lily? He asked. I nodded. I really like her. He chuckled lightly. Like what about her? Without hesitation, I answered. She's the most beautiful person in the world. Hearing this, he nudged the person sitting next to him. Hear that? This young man really likes you. I was startled, glancing at the person next to him. She was wearing a long black dress, a white baseball cap, and a black face mask. Throughout the ride, she kept her eyes closed, resting. I hadn't paid much attention. Suddenly, she opened her eyes and we made eye contact. Those eyes, who else could they belong to but Lily? What was this situation? Was Lily really his daughter? My mind went blank. I mechanically turned to look at my boss. Seeing my stunned expression and a hint of doubt, he quickly praised. Go on, say something to her. He gestured towards Lily. My mind was a mess. What should I say? For the first time, I felt she was so gentle and approachable, although normally she seemed quite aloof. At this moment, her image in my eyes suddenly became grand. Next time the company gossips about her, I'll try to restrain myself. I shouldn't say too much. The uncle in the back asked, Joan hasn't had dinner yet, right? Want to join us for a meal? I turned to look at Lily. She was still resting with her eyes closed. No refusal, just agreement. I tried to suppress the excitement in my heart, took a deep breath, and nodded vigorously to the uncle in the back. Arriving at the restaurant, my boss told Lily and me to go upstairs first while they stayed in the car to discuss something. I followed Lily into the elevator. She looked at me, her face suggesting she wanted to say something, but then stopped herself. I maintained a calm exterior, but inside it felt like a monkey was jumping around wildly. Ding! The elevator reached the floor. Just as we reached the door of the private room, my phone vibrated. It was a message from my assistant sending a web link. The content was about a major novel adaptation announcing Lily as the female lead. In the comments, fans of another famous actress were attacking nonstop, saying Lily had snatched their idol's resources. Lily's fans retorted, until the official announcement, we won't say anything. I put my phone in my pocket, not in a hurry to reply. I'd respond to them when I got home. I pushed open the room door and instantly froze. Everyone in the room looked up at me, eyes full of surprise and suspicion. Lily's dad saw me standing at the door and waved me in, then pointed to the empty seat next to Lily. He said, Today is the Lily family's family dinner. Don't mind if there are people missing or extra. Unexpectedly, my first family dinner was with the entire Lily family. I reluctantly stepped into the room, greeted everyone with a smile, and then sat down next to Lily. As I sat, my whole body tensed up. Lily asked me, What would you like to drink? I looked up, seeing her mesmerizing beauty, unable to utter a word. She thought for a moment, then said, In today's situation, perhaps you don't want to drink alcohol. She called the waiter and ordered a bottle of juice for me. I wanted to explain, to say that I normally drink alcohol, not like this. But as soon as I was about to speak, the words caught in my throat. My mind finally caught up. I was sitting next to the person I had always admired. My heart suddenly pounded faster. I hastily raised my juice glass and took a sip, my eyes again drifting towards Lily. Lily was quietly listening to the elders' conversation, her expression calm. She doesn't participate in reality shows, nor does she ever publicly reveal romantic relationships or pair up with anyone. Her work, besides filming, consists only of promotional events and public appearances. I always felt she was very distant, but now she was sitting right next to me. Perhaps Lily sensed my burning gaze. She turned to me and asked, What's wrong? I couldn't control myself. Unexpectedly having such a day, the feeling at this moment was overwhelming. Perhaps my ancestors were smiling from their graves. Lily has had a great personality since she was little, and never holds grudges. I looked towards the voice. It was an uncle sitting next to Lily's dad. He squinted at Lily, and she gently replied, Yes, that's right. Her expression natural and unaffected. Lily has been very generous since she was a child, the uncle said. The son on my right mumbled dismissively. I leaned closer and asked him, What's wrong? I had been so lost in Lily's eyes that I hadn't heard a word of the conversation at the table. He leaned closer to me, quickly summarizing the relationships in the room. The one who just spoke was Lily's uncle. His whole family had come to visit today. His son had secretly gone into Lily's room and ruined all the collectibles she kept. He gestured for me to look at the boy opposite. That's him, he said. I looked over. He didn't look very old, about 5 or 6 years old. Seeing me looking at him, he made a face at me. I turned back to the uncle and asked, "Do I know you?" He nodded. "I'm Lily's cousin. My dad is Lily's Uncle Tom." Turns out he was the son of the stingy boss I stood up to. I stood up to go to the restroom. As I came out, a child jumped out and sprayed water at me. I raised my hand to hit him. "You guys were talking bad about me, weren't you?" Hearing my voice, I realized it was Lily's uncle's son. I raised my hand to smell the sticky liquid on my hand. It was cola. He then poured cola into a water gun again. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. "I'm happy," he exclaimed. "Oh, you're happy?" I chuckled. "I like energetic kids like you." I walked closer, taking his hand. "Your face is really honest, just like a puppy." "You praised me," he said suspiciously. "You said I have artistic talent." I turned around and looked at my shirt, which was sprayed with water stains. "By you, it's really got artistic inspiration, right?" Seeing he was still silent, I feigned regret. "Too bad my shirt is too small. It can't fully showcase your talent." Saying this, I looked up at the large painting on the wall, a miles-long rivers and mountains piece, a famous work. "If this painting wasn't here, you could definitely show off your talent." I smiled, patting his shoulder. "You have to believe in yourself, okay?" Returning to the room, about to sit down, Lily's cousin looked at me, then froze for a moment before exclaiming, "Your shirt! What happened to your shirt?" I pretended not to notice. Kids don't understand things," I said, looking up at Lily and suddenly realizing who the culprit was. Everyone understood. The boy's dad couldn't keep a calm face. "It's just a shirt. It's not like we can't afford to clean it." Hearing this, I immediately walked closer, loudly opening my bag, pulling out my purchase history and showing it to him. "This shirt cost $3,200. Are you paying with credit card or Alipay?" He obviously didn't expect me to be so unceremonious, awkwardly opening Alipay, grinding his teeth and saying quietly, "This shirt is too expensive. Young guys these days, making money is so easy." I looked at him in surprise, speechless. I only sighed. "When I first walked in, I thought you were a wealthy person. Looking at your style of dress, very classy." Speaking to this point, I paused slightly regretfully. Unexpectedly, I guessed wrong. "And you say such uncultured words." His face flushed red. The words he was about to say he swallowed back down. I just picked up a few more bites. Suddenly, a child's scream echoed from outside. This voice everyone was familiar with. Lily's uncle was the first to rush out of the room. Everyone hurriedly followed. I calmly wiped my mouth, smiling and saying to Lily, "Don't go out, it's crowded outside. You'll definitely be recognized soon." Everyone returned to the room, faces different. My boss's face was joyful, corners of his mouth twitching, seeming like he couldn't hold back his smile. Lily's dad had a blank face, expressionless. Finally, Lily's uncle and his family walked in. The child was wailing loudly. Lily immediately walked over to me and whispered, "That kid also used a water gun to spray water on the 1,000 miles of rivers and mountains painting." When hotel staff discovered it, they quickly stopped him and pulled the child away. He even pushed the staff, spat on them and cursed. Passers-by couldn't help but say he was ill-mannered. Then the child grabbed a jade pendant in the hall and threw it at a passerby's head. Then the child fell to the ground, rolling around and wailing. The scene became chaotic. Listening to this, I shuddered inwardly. Truly, this child had innate talent. His destructive power was too strong. Soon after, the hotel manager came to discuss compensation. According to the manager, the injured guest was also a prominent figure. Besides medical expenses, they demanded the parents publicly apologize. The painting was a work by Master Ming, valued at $3 million. The jade pendant the child broke was estimated at $1 million. The child's dad was furious. "These stinky paintings are this expensive? The jade pendant, whatever the price." At this moment, the child looked towards me, pointing at me and saying, "It was him who told me to do it." Before he finished speaking, the child, face full of anger, lunged towards me. He gritted his teeth, looking at me. "Today I won't let you off." Lily stood up, pulling me behind her, raising her hand to stop him. Seeing Lily's face was not good, the child froze in place, not daring to advance further. Lily pulled me more behind her. I felt pitiful and pathetic. I poked my head out, looking at the child. I only praised him for having artistic talent. I didn't say anything else. Lily's dad spoke up. Lily, you take your cousin home first. Speaking, Lily's dad looked at me with a gentle expression. This dinner is truly a bit messy. Let's reschedule for another time, okay? I obediently nodded, following Lily out the door. Before leaving, I turned back to look at the child whose family raises children without spending money. Compared to the child's talent, this compensation is nothing. Not to mention, before I could finish speaking, Lily pulled me out of the room, closing the door. She pulled her hat lower and put on her mask. Don't cause more trouble. Isn't it chaotic enough? Her tone was gentle but with a hint of amusement. In the room echoed the cursing of the child's dad. Artistic talent, my ass. I told you not to cause trouble. I told you to break it to death. Then came the child's wails. Lily and I looked at each other. She said, "You really are vengeful." I immediately retorted, "I'm not that petty for a piece of clothing." She seemed surprised by my response. I continued, "4 years ago, your cousin posted a photo on social media. I found it again and looked closely. In that photo, the total value was already over $2 million. And there were a few unique pieces, right?" She smiled. "You've liked me for a long time, haven't you?" I nodded. "I've liked you for almost 6 years." As the car passed an intersection, I hurriedly told Lily to stop. "Wait for me a moment." Saying this, I opened the door and got out of the car. 10 minutes later, I returned to the car carrying a food container, because I still wasn't full. "The noodles from this place are really good." As she started the car, she softly said, "Why only buy one portion?" I was taken aback and hastily asked, "You want some too?" Seeing she didn't reply, I continued, "Or should I get out and buy another portion for you?" She said, "No need." The aroma of noodles filled the car. "How about we wait until we get home? I'll cook noodles for you." She replied with one word, "Okay." Arriving home, I opened the door inviting her in. This is the apartment I rent, very close to the company. It was just a small apartment. The small bedroom had been converted into an office. I finished cooking, poured the noodles into bowls, then carried them to the dining table. "You eat first." Saying this, I went into the kitchen, cooked a bowl of noodles for myself, brought it out, and sat opposite her. She looked at my bowl of noodles. "Your noodles look better." She put down her chopsticks and pushed her bowl of noodles towards me. "Let's switch." Saying this, I pulled her bowl towards myself. Suddenly, I realized I had already eaten 2 bites. Just as I was about to remind her, I noticed she didn't seem to notice. She picked up her chopsticks and started eating. After eating for a while, I asked, "Have you had enough?" "Not enough. Let me cook a little more," she shyly declined. After eating, I went into the kitchen to clean up but didn't see her anymore. So I went into the office, turned on the computer to check work emails. After replying to emails, I leaned back, stretched my neck a bit, took out my phone, and opened social media. Messages were flooding. And again, fans of Sue, another actress, were asserting Lily had stolen their idol's resources. They had fans standing in front of cameras, declaring they demanded the film crew give an explanation. In Lily's online comments, fans of both sides were fiercely arguing. I saw the evidence that Sue's fans provided, which was a screenshot of a fan group chat. The date was marked July of this year. Sue told fans, "I'm preparing to participate in a major project almost decided." A fan asked, "Is it City of Lost Nights?" Sue didn't reply, only sent an emoji. Reading this, I chuckled inwardly. I turned around and sent another screenshot. It was a photo of Lily taken in May on social media. In the photo, on the bookshelf behind Lily, a corner was clearly marked, adding the caption, "If I post this photo, how would you guys explain it?" Immediately, Lily's fans started sharing and commenting. Truly, when the boss makes a move, he can kill the opponent instantly. "Leader, from now on we will follow you." The photo I marked showed a thick book with the title City of Lost Nights, script clearly printed on it. Sue's fans shifted their attack to me online, starting to condemn me. Lily probably only got the second female lead. My sister will get the female lead. I found typing too slow, so I directly sent voice messages which were converted to text and sent. Before you speak, shake your brain. Okay, Lily acting alongside Sue, is she worthy? If Sue dares to answer me directly, I'll respect her as a woman. She only sees you guys as pawns, intentionally drawing attention to my family in terms of looks, acting, or status. What does she have to compare with my wife? Fans started commenting. John, don't be smug. One day we'll meet at the top. I continued to use voice messages to attack. Meet at the top? What top? She can't even climb the top. This sentence infuriated the other side. A bunch of people started screen scrolling. Okay, get lost. You get lost. I continued to retort. I've already been vaccinated against rabies. Afraid you haven't finished basic education yet. Yet you talk about hidden meanings like this. Someone replied. You're the one who hasn't finished studying. Next year I'm taking the university entrance exam. You idiot. I chuckled. Wish you better luck in the university entrance exam next year. Saying this, I stood up to pour a drink. Looking up, I saw Lily standing at the door, arms crossed, leaning against the wall watching me. Why haven't you left? She pointed outside. Can't leave. I ran to the balcony and looked down. Indeed, Lily's car was too eye-catching. Several young people were leaning on the car, taking photos. If Lily went near the car, she would definitely be recognized. I turned back to look at her. Wait for them to finish taking photos, then leave. She nodded, walked to the sofa near the window, pressed the button to open the curtains, then took out a book to read. When I was lecturing, I occasionally looked up at her. She was like a painting. Without doing anything, just sitting still, she was enough to make me feel comfortable, boss. Have you reviewed the lesson yet? Staring at her for too long, I hastily turned away, picked up the lecture notes, and continued teaching. Lily's cousin glanced at me. We just went through this already. I embarrassedly flipped to another page. Oops, wrong page. Around noon, Lily's cousin suggested ordering takeout. I took out my phone. I'll order. What do you guys want to eat? Egg noodles, Lily said. Lily's cousin looked at me with a knowing expression. Then I'll also have egg noodles. Boss, the ones you make are the best. I stood up and went to the kitchen, checking the ingredients. Eggs, noodles, seasonings, all complete. So I turned on the stove to boil water and started cooking noodles. After eating, Lily went into the kitchen to clean up. Lily's cousin and I continued studying. In the afternoon, the driver came to pick up Lily's cousin to go home. It happened that I and his family were going in the same direction, so he offered me a ride home. As we were leaving, Lily's cousin looked at us. Aren't you guys exchanging phone numbers? I looked at Lily. This isn't very appropriate. Lily took out her phone. I'll scan you. I hurriedly took out my phone from my pocket, quickly opened the QR code, and handed it to her. My heart was pounding wildly, hands trembling. I secretly cheered in my heart. At it. I couldn't help but immediately open Lily's friend's circle. Why was it empty? She looked at my phone screen. This is my personal phone number. I don't usually post anything on my friend's circle. I nodded, carefully putting my phone into my pocket. From today on, it was no longer an ordinary phone. Half a month later, Lily's new movie promotion period ended. The day she returned home, the Lily family invited me to dinner. Entering the house, I discovered Uncle Deng and Lily's sister Sue were also there. Sue, though not as dazzlingly beautiful as Lily, was also a beauty. She was petite and athletic, the type of strong woman. During dinner, she sat on Lily's left, conveniently next to me. The Lily family's dining atmosphere was quite relaxed. Everyone was used to eating and chatting at the same time. I looked towards Sue and couldn't help but admire her. You are a top talent from a prestigious university, an all-around warrior. Do you have no weaknesses? I have a weakness in romance. I asked. No boyfriend? She gave a faint smile. Never been on a date. I laughed awkwardly. I strolled in the Lily's backyard garden. Looking up, I saw Lily standing under a tree back to me. As I approached, I discovered someone was talking by the fence. You also think John is very good, right? He has unlimited potential for future development. It was Lily's dad talking about my business prospects, sounding a bit regretful. You also know Lily's personality doesn't care about anything. She doesn't like John. What about Sue? Today they look like they're talking very well. I secretly exclaim, so this is a blind date. Lily looked at me, her gaze inscrutable. We looked at each other for a few seconds. No one spoke. Then she turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, stunned. Lily is going back to work. The next 4 months will be busy filming with the film crew. I couldn't help but text her a lot. The beauty of the sunset glow, the roses on the balcony, the cats on the street. I couldn't help but take photos and send them to her. Interesting news jokes shared among colleagues. I couldn't help but forward them to her. She didn't reply much. Sometimes the whole day would pass with only 2 or 3 messages. John, yes, Manager John, are you in love? I waved my hand. How could that be? They gathered around me recently. You don't like working overtime anymore? I adjusted my expression, returning to work mode. Okay, tonight after work, let's have a quick meeting. The whole office immediately groaned. A month later, my boss sent me on a long business trip. The work was expected to take 8 days, but I finished it in 3 days. I bought a high-speed train ticket to the city where Lily was filming. Initially, I planned to just watch from afar, but with no filming pass, there was no entry. Just as I was about to leave, someone called me. John. When I turned around, the person ran over. You're visiting the film crew? I nodded. I can't get in. She didn't say a word, ran off and borrowed a work pass for me. I'm Lily's assistant, just call me Sue. Lily was filming a scene with the male lead. She worked very seriously, always discussing with the staff beside her. Sue leaned closer, whispering a few words in her ear. Lily looked at me, slightly surprised. I waved hello to her. At this moment, the male lead also followed Lily's gaze towards me. I nodded hello to him, but he coldly turned his head away. This male lead was named Peter, a top star always highly regarded in the industry. During a film break, Peter walked over, looking me up and down. A person who doesn't know their place is destined to fail. In the distance, someone called him. Before leaving, he still maintained his harmless demeanor. In the next scene, I'm with Lily. She walked over. You shouldn't be here, it will affect me. I looked up. Oh, a pain shot through my heart. A feeling of bitterness and pain. Lily, yeah, work late. Remember to rest. Then I waved goodbye to her. Just as she turned to leave, she grabbed my hand. John, can you wait for me outside for a while? At this moment, the film crew called Lily. Get ready. Looks like break time was over. I pulled her hand away. You go ahead. I changed my train ticket to a plane ticket and called a taxi to the airport. On the way back, I thought a lot. My current state is not the image of a fan. I should keep a distance from her, whether it's work or personal life. I shouldn't disturb her. After getting off the plane, I tried not to text her. In the following days, I forced myself completely into work, working late, taking a shower when tired, then going straight to sleep. I tried not to pay attention to any information about her. A few days later, I received a text message from Lily. This was the first time she proactively messaged me. How's the weather today? Her message was very strange. Perhaps she rarely proactively chatted with others. I replied, pretty good. After a while, she messaged again asking, what are you doing tomorrow? I simply replied, blind date. The day before yesterday was my dad's birthday. He posted 2 photos of us on WeChat. Unexpectedly, his friend's daughter saw them. She said she fell in love with me at first sight. I couldn't win against my dad and had to agree to meet on Saturday night. Lily didn't reply anymore. Perhaps she was busy again. So I put down my phone and continued working. Saturday, I simply got ready and arrived at the restaurant on time for the appointment. The waitress led me to the reserved seat. The person opposite had already arrived. Seeing me, her eyes didn't hide her excitement. She stood up to greet me. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm the daughter of your dad's friend. My name is Mary. I smiled and said, I'm John. Saying this, I sat down opposite her. We had nothing to talk about. The atmosphere was very awkward. But when preparing to leave, my dad repeatedly instructed that this meal must last for a full hour. Otherwise, it would be disrespectful to him. His reputation was more important than everything, especially in front of his friends. If I couldn't do it, I'd be scolded by him for a whole year. Looking at my phone, only 55 minutes left. Are you planning to buy a house? How much are your family preparing? I took a sip of water. About $200,000. The rest is a bank loan. Then we'll contribute $40,000 and buy a bigger house. She had already started dreaming about the future. May I ask what's your income? I replied tactfully. Monthly salary is over $2,000, but I just got promoted. Year-end bonus will be higher. Her eyes lit up after hearing this. Then we're quite compatible. I asked her, what about you? What's your income? About nearly $1,000, including bonus or not including? Not including. I couldn't hide my surprise. She hastily explained, my job is very stable. I definitely won't be unemployed. I only laughed twice to brush it off. At this moment, the atmosphere became even more awkward. I checked the time and apologized. Sorry, I need to deal with some work. So I took out my laptop, not replying to any of her words. This type of person not only wasted my time but also danced on the edge of my patience. I didn't even feel like criticizing her, afraid she'd learn how to pretend. Then that would be a trap. After dealing with work, still 10 minutes left to reach a full hour. I took out my phone, preparing to browse the internet to kill time while checking messages. I unexpectedly saw a message from Lily's assistant, Sue. The sending time was exactly the day I went to the film crew. Hello, I'm Sue, Lily's assistant. During break time, Lily was looking for you in the film studio today. Lily seems off. Filming kept being interrupted. Never happened before. She kept asking to borrow my phone. Seems like she's waiting for a message from someone. Lily is probably in love, but seems like she got dumped. I stared at the message, mind blank, not thinking. I turned to look at Mary. Is your work dealt with yet? I shook my head, then took a photo of Mary and sent it to my dad. I only wrote 2 words. Checked in. After sending it, I stood up and said to her, today the date will end here. I still have things to do. She tried to stop me, saying we were quite compatible. I directly paid the bill at the front desk. No need, this meal is on me. Saying this, I didn't look back and walked straight to the car. After parking the car downstairs, I was slightly surprised to hear Lily's voice. Turning around, I saw the car next to mine lowering its window. She was looking at me. I walked closer and jumped into the passenger seat. Why are you here? Aren't you filming? How was the blind date? I asked her. Why suddenly ask that? No reason, she replied. In the future, no need to meet again. Why go on a blind date? Family pressure, you know. They probably think I'm not young anymore. She turned her head away. You don't like me anymore, do you? Impossible. How could I not like you? You're my idol. I chuckled lightly to hide the disappointment in my heart. But then one day you'll also have a partner. We get married, but that person can't be me, she said loudly. I couldn't discern the emotion in her voice, as if what she just said was an illusion. She saw I didn't speak and turned back to look at me. The person who marries me can't be you. Why? I widened my eyes, clutching my head. Could I be dreaming? In my heart it was like a dragon roaring. My idol said she wanted to marry me. I completely couldn't escape the feeling of extreme excitement. My whole body stiff, unable to move. She thought I didn't believe her. Expression serious and sincere. That night you wanted to kiss me. Actually, I wasn't asleep. Finally, I regained a bit of reason. That night you told me to leave, said I'd affect you because after that was a kissing scene. You were afraid I'd affect your state. That scene I had to film over 20 times. I couldn't find you, called you, you hung up. I felt very uneasy. She raised her head. How long have we known each other? Since meeting you, I felt really well protected. Seeing her like this, I couldn't hold back. Actually, I also think your sister is not bad. She leaned closer, biting her lip, eyes red-rimmed. I hastily said, don't be like this, Lily. Don't be like this. I'm wrong. Seeing you like this, I'll feel heartbroken. I can't bear it. 4 days after officially escaping singlehood, my boss fired me from the company without compensation. My boss looked at me. You take over the company. Do you still need compensation? Now I understood. Turns out the Lily family was worried Lily's non-competitive personality would be bullied in the entertainment industry. So when she debuted, the Lily family secretly protected her. Now this job, Lily's sister Sue had handed it to me. I looked at Lily. So now am I holding your family's money? Investing in your movie, becoming your sponsor? I rolled around on the bed. Your sister is truly a business genius. Just a little bit, already developed the company to this scale. She glanced at me, regretting it now. I poked my head out from the blanket. What's this about? Isn't she a border warrior, Lily's sister? A top student? No weaknesses. Now I'm like enlightened. A year later, I officially took over the Lily family's film industry, expanding its territory 3 times over. Recently, I received a female lead role in a major movie. This character is very suitable for Lily, but the male lead hasn't been decided yet. Several people have auditioned, but after auditions, the results haven't been good. I flipped through the resumes of the recommended actors. The doorbell rang. I opened the door. It was Peter. He saw me, also frozen in place. Why is it you? His manager saw we knew each other and immediately pulled him into the house. Manager Peter rarely appears unexpectedly. You guys know each other? Truly fate. While speaking, they walked to the sofa and sat down. Coincidentally, I saw the actor resumes on the table. Manager Peter, after we cooperate, please help out a lot. I nodded. Definitely. After all, Peter just signed a contract with our company. Manager John said Peter just signed a contract and needs a representative work to consolidate his position. I think this role is very suitable for him. I looked at Peter. What do you think? Of course, I'm very suitable for the male lead role in this movie, Peter said. I sighed. A person who doesn't know themselves clearly will fail miserably. His face turned pale, about to retort, but suddenly remembered this sentence he had said to me. I looked at his manager. The male lead role in this movie has many offers. He's not suitable. On Lily's birthday, she publicly announced our relationship online. At this moment, I was live streaming. For the past year, I had almost monthly spent time live streaming. Lily's fans quickly flooded into my live room, comforting me. Lily has a boyfriend already. This person in his past life must have accumulated a lot of merit. Only in this life could he be able to love Lily. Definitely a high-class tycoon. I replied, nothing special. Everyone was still confused. I tilted my head, smiled, and said, her boyfriend is me. The live room instantly exploded. Everyone spammed comments. Are you kidding? Lily briefly flashed across the camera lens. Everyone was astonished. Unbelievable. You really got a wife from an advertisement? Is it still possible for me to find a wife? I laughed and said, not possible. After all, there's only one Lily. I still remember my university days. I was just an ordinary student while Lily was already a bright star on the screen. Every step she took, I followed closely. Every interview of hers I watched over and over again. My room was full of her posters, my phone full of her photos. Friends called me a crazy fan. After graduation, I entered the workforce. My workability and professional attitude helped me quickly stand out. Although work was busy, I never forgot to support Lily. I was always the first to buy tickets to her movies, participate in her online activities, and even organized movie screenings in the company for colleagues to understand and love Lily. I wanted her to feel that no matter where she was at any time, there was always someone silently supporting her. That drunken night unexpectedly brought me into Lily's view. I was both embarrassed and excited, but I didn't retreat. On the contrary, I became even more determined. I actively participated in Lily's fan activities, and even went online to speak up for her, defending her against malicious online attacks. My actions attracted Lily's attention. She started to realize this man wasn't just a fan, but my feelings were deeper than that. I silently waited as time passed. My career became more and more successful, but my feelings for Lily remained unchanged. I knew as a celebrity, Lily's life was full of pressure and challenges. I didn't want to become her burden. I only wanted to be the supporter behind her. Every time Lily encountered difficulties and challenges, I was always the first to stand up, using my own way to help her overcome them. My actions each time made Lily feel warm and full of strength.